Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to hip hop.
That's good.
Yep.
You ever heard of Negro Terror?
No.
They're a all-black punk rock band from Memphis. And their music's just okay, but I don't know. I just like the idea of like a all-black punk band from the South.
Yeah. Yeah.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm losing.
Yes, I am here.
I'm losing you.
Maybe. No, I did something
Oh, okay. All right.
that maybe I shouldn't have done.
What'd you do?
I was trying to what? Well, I think I'm opening a different box. Or I just lost you entirely.
I'm
Which
here.
one is it? All right, there you are. Okay.
All right. You were
Now we're
doing
good.
something and I lost your video and audio for
I know,
just
dude.
a second.
I think I started logging into the thing a second time.
Oh. Well, that's not good.
No,
Okay, let's see if we can remember how to do this.
Yeah. We've discussed the change of format, right?
Yeah, that's out there.
Okay. We need to talk about Stan Lee, and I'm going to tell the Bruce Pritchard, Conrad Thompson story.
Okay. You're very dark.
Yeah. You want some lights?
Yeah, because I really can't see you.
Because there were no lights on.
Okay, that's much better.
Okay, cool.
All right. We're good to go whenever you're ready and got the intro ready.
Count us in.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
What is up? This is the 6 month behind podcast for the months of May and June. I'm Pat.
And I am Sean.
And we're finally back. How you doing, man?
I'm good, dude. How about you?
I'm all right. We've been back a lot, but we've been doing what's next and not really getting around to the weekly books.
Yeah, we made this move to the monthly format for 6 months behind, where we're just reviewing the entire month at a time. And because life happens, we're cramming May and June all into one.
Yeah, I told you right before you hit record. Conrad Thompson is the guy who does the wrestling podcast, and he hosts Jim Ross's podcast and Eric Bischoff's and Bruce Pritchard's and several others. And he and Bruce Pritchard have had trouble recording the last few months. It's like Conrad had an event in Vegas and Bruce had to go to Saudi Arabia with the WWE, and Bruce was doing something else with the WWE. And it was just, they just kept having to do reruns and replays and all this stuff. And finally, one week they're like, okay, we're back. Here's the schedule for the next 6 weeks. We promise we're never going to miss again. And the next week I'm listening to another replay. It's Tony Schiavone hosting a best of. And I'm like, what happened? When the next week they came back and Bruce didn't explain how he lost like 6 teeth, and he's mumbling because like 6 of his teeth are literally held in his mouth with stitches. And that's what I missed the previous week, man. It was pretty funny. So we're not the only ones who miss podcast recordings.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know if you want to get into it, but your mother, who is not a young woman, had open heart surgery, and
yes,
that's a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah. So, stuff happens.
We're recording this on July 3rd, and I was sitting in the living room last night, and Daddy came in from the rehab facility, and Renee and I had been talking. We're like, what are you going to do on the 4th? Because I'm off on Thursday. I was like, well, probably nothing. Just kind of thought I'd mow the grass, tonight and, chill out on the 4th, maybe barbecue something. Daddy comes in. He's like, well, your mother's coming home on Friday, and we got to do this. We got to do this. We got to get to bed. We got to move the bed here. We got to elevate the bed. And I need this and this from Lowe's. And I'm just thinking, well, I just filled up my day. Okie dokie. Great. Yeah. It's all good, man.
You just want one day off to like sit around and not do a whole lot. And
now I'm shooting for Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, that's okay. Football season will be here soon enough.
It will be here soon. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it will. Before we get into the books.
Yeah.
These books came out a few months after Stan Lee's death, really like 2 or 3 months. And these are all Stan Lee tribute covers, and each one of them's got a page to Stan Lee on the side of it. And that's where you see, at the top, it's got that little black strip, and it says Stan Lee, date to date. And people really loved them because it took all the trash off the cover, just left the cover artwork in that one black stripe. People really love these covers, man.
Yeah, and it tells me that Marvel should maybe make that a thing. I mean, not necessarily keep the Stan Lee tribute up, but just, the cover art is so good on almost every one of these books that just let it speak for itself.
Yeah, you don't need an Avengers logo covering up a third of the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just let the art speak for itself. If it doesn't pop out on the rack just like it is, then you're not doing your job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
One more thing before we get into it. I'd just like to give a shout out to the two guys who, the two middle-aged men who were sitting in a barbecue restaurant in Alabama watching sexually explicit anime at full volume on their phone during lunch. Just sup dudes, we're doing this for you. This episode is dedicated to you guys because wow.
Paige was on the phone yesterday. The young lady I work with was on the phone, and we were trying to get some rate quotes from a truck line, and Paige is by no means a prude. Okay.
Sure.
I mean, she's 27, 28-year-old young lady, but as she's talking to the young lady at the truck line on the phone, in the background, there's like 2 or 3 guys discussing their trip to a strip club last weekend.
Oh God.
And literally she's like, I'm not in business with them anymore, because that was the most disgusting phone call I've ever been a part of. And this one was not a prude, but these two guys, and it was just it just all carried right through the phone. And everyone's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time on the phone at work, and on Saturday nights it's all dudes at work, and occasionally our conversations get a little blue, and every now and again one of us has to be like, hey, I'm on the phone. Can you guys shut up, because we don't need to be talking about that on.
There you go.
Yeah, on record, and we do security stuff, so it's all recorded lines.
That's funny.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, everybody be quiet. Stop talking about, boobies or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
By the way, we're recording this for the books that would have come out on June 1st. And Unlimited only put like half the books up. I went back and looked because I thought there's only 26 books, and most of them were some kind of dump. There's only like 8 new books. And I went and pulled the list for what should have shipped on December 26th. Sure enough, they're missing like half the books. I was like, okay.
They dumped a bunch of them like the week after, though. Or is that just what shipped that week? Because I remember.
No, that's this week. If you look at this week's books for July the 1st, whatever year this is, 2019, they're not all there.
Oh, you mean what dropped Monday?
Yes, 2 days ago.
I haven't looked at the brand new stuff. I've been concentrating on May and June. So
there we go.
Yeah.
Speaking of May and June.
Yeah.
Yeah. The email is
we can. Okay. Yeah, we hadn't done this in a while. If you want to email us, you can get in touch with us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. That's the number 6monthsbehind@gmail.com.
The website's www.6monthsbehind.com, where most of the alternate covers for the last few weeks are up.
Most.
I'm missing 1 or 2 here and there, but most of them are there.
Dude, I'm surprised you had time to do any of it.
Yeah.
And then follow us on Twitter at 6 Months Behind.
There you
where
go.
Sometimes we post that we have a new episode, and sometimes we post our opinions about comic books, and sometimes people don't like those opinions.
Not us, man.
No, because people who write comic books or do comic book podcasts are just supposed to keep their opinions to themselves.
Apparently, yes.
Yeah.
Also, we discuss spoilers.
I'm running the Twitter feed, and I ain't keeping my opinion to myself, so y'all can suck it.
There you go. These books were from weeks ago, and we're recording this in July, and you're probably going to be listening sometime in July. So if you haven't heard or read, May and June books by now, well, we're sorry for your luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Infinity War event wrapped up this month.
Yeah. First, you had Infinity Wars 5 and 6, and it wrapped up. They wound up defeating first Gamora and then Loki to get the gems. Adam Warlock took the gems and scattered them to the universe. Let the gems decide where they wanted to go and who they wanted to be with. There's a pretty funny scene there where he's sending her Peter Quill and said, "Well, I guess the Soul Gem didn't want you." And yeah, and Drax died.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's already come out yet, but there's a special issue about Drax coming out. I think it's called Fallen Guardian or something like that.
Yeah. He'll be back.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah, it was all right. Dude, since I opened it, 1, 2, 3, 4 new books out of 22.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. The rest of them are Darkhawk because, we needed the Darkhawk books. Along the way, they managed to recreate all the universes in the order they're supposed to be in.
I wonder how Reed Richards feels about that.
I don't know. Because they made it so nobody will remember. So, they wrote that in there that nobody will remember it. So Reed Richards won't care. They created an alternate world for the combined characters from the universe. It was good, man. It was all right. So, we get, what was it? Dr. America or Captain Strange or whatever it was. We get Iron Hammer and all those guys hanging out in their own universe. Those in Infinity Warps 1 and 2, we get to see a bunch of those characters explored, and there's really some decent stories in there. I mean, if you're over this whole Infinity thing, I completely understand because the War of the Realms is only right around the corner. But if you're not over it, those Infinity Warps are really pretty good stories.
Yeah, there was some good ones. Iron Hammer was okay. It was basically what if Tony Stark was actually Thor.
Yes. It's combined, man.
Yeah, it was good. The Sleepwalker thing, is Sleepwalker a character that's existed before? Because I get the impression, I got the impression that he's like some old character that nobody really knows, but some writer was a fan of, and they decided to chunk him in here. I really enjoyed the Weapon Hex line.
Yeah.
Which is basically Scarlet Witch and X-23 together. That was good. But my favorite was Ghost Panther, where it's Ghost Rider and Black Panther, like they get combined. And basically T'Challa is, regular old T'Challa, son of the King of Wakanda, future Black Panther. He's essentially exiled from Wakanda, goes to America, becomes a stunt rider, dies while doing a stunt, meets the Spirit of Vengeance, who basically in exchange for being resurrected from the dead, he becomes the Ghost Rider and the Black Panther and consumes the souls of evil people. It was rad.
How do you give me the wrap-up signal for Infinity Wars and you keep talking another 2 or 3 minutes?
I wasn't. I was going, woohoo.
I thought you were giving me a wrap-up signal. Okay.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
We really are out of practice.
Yeah, no, I was trying to silently protest War of the Realms. Not that I have look, War of the Realms is coming and it's going to be cool. But the thing I'm not looking forward to, because I'm totally in on Jason Aaron doing this big event, but it's going to cross over with literally everything.
Everything.
And this is just going to become the War of the Realms podcast for 5 months.
Yes.
And hopefully they ship this thing on time so that, sometime that we're done with it by December.
It did.
Yeah.
And I read the final issue yesterday, and because I haven't been reading many of them, but I read the final issue yesterday, and it's a pretty good payoff there at the end.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. That makes me feel better.
Yep. Next, we have our Avengers book. Avengers number 10 is actually Avengers 700. So it's like 60 pages long. Most of that devoted to Atlantis fighting the Avengers. Namor is mad at the world. What's new? And he's put together a team of people, and they're fighting the Avengers. Number 11 is kind of one of those, what would you call it, a reboot issue, where they're just kind of, Thor and Jennifer Walters / She-Hulk are making out. Everybody's just kind of spending time together. And that's the issue that really irritated me, because it shows Ursula Major, the big bear.
Yeah, the Russian bear. Yeah.
Right, the big Russian bear. Last time we saw him, he was hanging out Black Widow, Hawkeye, and the Winter Soldier. And he was this happy, lovable bear, Well, now he's like this raging drunk that everybody's afraid of. It's like, it's completely transformed the character.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, dude, I don't know.
Next, we have the Avengers Halloween special. I couldn't care less.
It was okay. The first story, there's like with a lot of these special issues, it's like multiple short stories. The first one is pretty good, where Daredevil basically gets an eye transplant, but he starts seeing ridiculous things and starts killing people that he loves, and it's like the Avengers meets Twilight Zone. It was okay.
Okie dokie.
You know me, man. I'm a sucker for the Halloween stuff.
Sure.
So.
Next, we have West Coast Avengers 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Boring. Don't care.
I was going to say, did you read that?
Lord, I have not read a single issue of this abomination that is a West Coast Avengers comic book. No.
Okay. That brings us to our X-Men book.
You know what else I didn't read? Astonishing X-Men number 17, because this book sucks.
I told you it did, man. And you can say, no, it's good. No, it's good.
The first 12 issues are great. And then they resolve that storyline.
Get a new writing team.
Yeah, they got a new writing team, and it just blows.
Dude, it did.
And it ends at 19 or 20, I think. And it's all about what's his name trying to put a team together. Havoc, yeah. Havoc was a bad guy who became a good guy, and he's trying to put a team together, and it's all going terribly for him because he's still kind of like a felon. So no one wants anything to do with him, and this book blows. It's getting canceled, just like the rest of everything else in the X-Men books. So
there you go. We're going to skip Extermination and come back to us.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Iceman 3 and 4, Mr. and Miss X 5 and 6, Multiple Man number 5 of 5, Secrets of the Uncanny X-Men number 1, Shatterstar 2 and 3, Typhoid Fever X-Men number 1. Do you know what this whole Typhoid Fever thing is?
No. They did a Spider-Man one, then they did an X-Men one.
There's several of them floating around.
Yeah, and they're doing typhoid. It's like Typhoid Fever, Spider-Man, X-Men, Daredevil, Moon Knight, whatever,
Sure.
I don't know what they're doing here. I don't know if they're seeding something for a future event, or if they're just one-offs, because they feel like one-offs. None of these seem like they're in continuity. So I don't know, but they're not bad. I don't care.
Okay. How about X-23, 6 and 7?
Now this is good. You got Mariko Tamaki doing this. In issue 6, you've basically got X-23 running they're running a mission to, this whole thing has been, they're trying to find the scientists from the Weapon X program to ensure that none of this can ever happen again. They're basically killing the scientists, and making sure that no one can ever perform the Weapon X stuff ever again. So Gabby goes undercover as a kid in a middle school because they think that somehow there's a science teacher or a science program that's doing some sort of that's involved somehow. They turn out to be right. They sabotage a science fair. Everything kind of goes terribly, and then Laura and Gabby save the day. It's good. This since it was all new Wolverine and then became X-23, this book has been good since they relaunched the universe. And I'm hoping it's selling well, because I don't know.
Next, we have, I don't know, I'd have to look. X-Men Black Emma Frost. There was 5 of these X-Men Black books, and they basically rebooted the 5 major villains. Magneto, Juggernaut, Emma Frost. I forget the other 2. This Emma Frost book is by far and away the best, because it takes Emma, the last decade or 2, she's been this tweener character, which is kind of like half evil and half good. And she still is that tweener character, but she took over the Hellfire Club and she manipulated the X-Men while she did it. So it's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. Her whole thing now is like overthrowing the Hellfire Club.
No, she did it.
Oh, okay.
Now, well, yeah, that's what she did in that Black book.
I thought that was her plan, and she didn't.
No.
Okay.
No, well, dude. She gets.
I don't know. I read it 6 weeks ago. I don't know.
She catches Sebastian Shaw in bed with a teenager, which apparently is what he does all the time, and destroys him of his power. Then she has the X-Men take out all the other facilities around the world, and she takes out Sebastian Shaw and assumes power.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
I read that. I should know that, but I don't know. It's been a while since I've read it, so yeah. But now you're left wondering, okay, well, what does Emma Frost do with the Hellfire Club now?
I can answer that, but not for a few months.
Okay, as long as that doesn't just become a plot thread that dangles forever. Because you make a big move like that, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh yeah, we forgot all about it. As long as they're doing something with that, that's fine.
No, they are.
I'm down with it. Okay.
Yeah.
All this X-Men stuff's in flux, so I don't know what's happening and what's getting left behind.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a moment.
Okay. X-Men Red, Jean Grey and her team have a big showdown with oh crap, what's her name?
Cassandra Nova.
Cassandra Nova, yeah, the evil telepath lady. They go to the island of Genosha. She calls in Namor and the Atlanteans. The Avengers show up, which is weird because like Namor and the Avengers are kind of at odds at the moment. Anyway, what's continuity? But yeah, they have a big old fight, and that goes about how you think it does.
Sure.
X-Men The Exterminated. I didn't actually read this.
I don't care.
Okay. I didn't know if it was like wrap
up
from Extermination.
I actually think I wound up buying it off the newsstand 7 months ago, but I don't care.
Okay.
Weapon X.
I assumed it was like wrap up stuff from Extermination.
It was. Yeah, it was.
Okay. Are we going to discuss Extermination at all, or is it still going?
Yeah, no, it's coming. It's coming.
Okay. All right.
We're going to tie it all together. Weapon X 25, 26, 27. Do you care?
Not really. Azazel shows up in one of these issues, who's like Nightcrawler's dad and also the devil or something. I don't know. He's a fun character, but I don't know. This book's gone off. We've said this for a while. This book, around issue like 18 or 19, this series has jumped the shark.
Yeah.
It's the quality has diminished greatly.
Yes. So, Extermination 4 and 5. We have Nathan Summers fighting Ahab, fighting the X-Men. Finally, the X-Men realize that the young Nathan Summers, even though he killed the old Nathan Summers / Cable, is actually a good guy, and he's actually trying to save the young X-Men from the past. Because what he knows is, if the X-Men from the past aren't returned to their continuity, then the future will not live on as we know it. So he's trying to capture all these X-Men to put them back where they belong. Eventually, the rest of the X-Men, rest of the team realize this is what's happening. They defeat Ahab. The young X-Men return to their past. Jean Grey erases all their minds, but allows it so that they will know that it happened at some point in the future. At the very end, we see that Nathan Grey has periodically been talking to someone just once or twice throughout the 5 issues that person is finally revealed to be a resurrected Cyclops.
Yeah.
Last screen, last panel. Yeah, you got his dad Cyclops sitting there.
Yeah, and not young Cyclops, like adult Cyclops who died during the IVX thing. That's
Yes.
Cyclops.
That's Cyclops. Yes. Next, you have Uncanny X-Men 1 through 6, and which have come out the last couple of months. I started shipping fast. So they're confronted first by X-Man. X-Man is a character of supreme power who is created sometimes in the 90s, maybe.
Yeah, it was the 90s.
Yeah, and he's like from an alternate universe.
Yeah, he's like all of the X-Men or something like that.
Yeah, he's like Nathan Gray, and
yeah, he is Nathan Gray,
he's
but
like-
he's
he's
like
like
an
got-
alternate Nathan Gray.
right, he's got like all the powers of Cable with the powers of Jean Grey.
Yeah, and sometimes that manifests as like an amalgamation of a different X-Men sort of. It's been a long time since, one, he's been around. Two, since I've read anything about him. In fact, I was probably still a kid when that was the case.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Okay, if you're bringing
Sure. So
X-Man back, that's whatever.
Matthew Rosenberg, Kelly Thompson, and Ed Brisson are the three people who are writing this. And they really are doing a good job with it. I'm still buying it off the newsstand. We all know that Hickman's coming. His first book is going to ship July the 24th. His next book will ship the 31st. He's coming and he's going to wipe away all of this. I understand that. But these guys are writing some good stories here. And they're entertaining stories. And what happens is X-Men takes a group of people and make him their disciples. One is Angel, who becomes Archangel, who becomes a disciple of X-Men. Magneto's one. I forget who the other 2 or 3 are. And they basically become his horsemen, so to speak. And issues 1 through 10 are the X-Men fighting this event. And then in issue 11, they go in a different direction. Because all the X-Men are, well, they go in a different direction. There you go. We'll leave it at that.
Alrighty. Yeah. I'm enjoying what's happening here, but I'm having a hard time being invested because I know it's all going away.
Yes, it is all going away in 6 months.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. I'm okay with it because they're putting Hickman on the series, and whatever he's going to do is going to be awesome. And I'll have forgotten about this, in a few months.
Go ahead.
I don't know. It feels like every time you hit a stride with X-Men, they reset things.
Yes. And these people, by the time issue 13 or 14 comes out, they're really hitting a stride. They hit a stride with number 11, but they really hit a stride about 13 or 14. And that's not saying this isn't a good arc. This is a great arc. It's just, dude, you got Hickman. And we just did a podcast on the Illuminati and specifically Hickman's run on New Avengers. And I wound up reading all of Hickman's New Avengers, most of his Avengers run, and now I'm reading Secret Wars. So I'm of the opinion, if you want to give it to Hickman, give it to him.
Yeah. And there had apparently been some editorial issues with this too, because they agreed that, hey, there's really great stuff happening with the X-Men right now. Why don't we bring Hickman in and he just continues what this is? And Hickman basically said, nah, dude, if you want me on this book, that's fine. And I'll do it. But I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to have complete creative control. And that means canceling all this stuff and not starting over, but doing something different. And I'm fine with that. But it was a discussion within the upper echelons of Marvel Publishing too.
Yeah, I can tell you how they get there and what happens in this thing, but
No, save it for.
It's
save it
it's
for later.
spoiling like issues 7 through 14 if I tell you what happens. And it's really spoiling the end of this first arc. So anyway, on to
Yeah.
the Spider-Man books.
Amazing Spider-Man. I'm really enjoying Amazing Spider-Man. I've enjoyed it for a while now. I mean, Dan Slott's run, but we're a good ways into Nick Spencer's tenure on this comic so far, and it's not bad from someone who brought you, Nazi Captain America. He actually is not doing half bad on Spider-Man.
No, he is not.
First of all, I want to say this whole idea of like an anonymous group for the loved ones of superheroes is a really neat idea. Jarvis invites Mary Jane to this anonymous group, and it's literally anonymous because when you walk into the room, they have technology that blurs and pixelates your face to everyone around you so that no one knows who you are. And they all sit around and tell stories about what it's like to be the ordinary person in the life of a superpowered person. And it's a group for her to lament and also celebrate the fact that she's with Spider-Man and what that means, the sleepless nights, but also that she's in love with someone who cares about other people so much. And it's a neat concept. It's something I really like, and I think is an attention to a detail that often gets overlooked in these books. Now, in this, otherwise, Spider-Man is teamed up with Black Cat, who's no longer a mob boss, by the way. They spent months building Black Cat up to be like the new Kingpin, and then like knock that down in moments. To me, it was a lot of wasted potential, but whatever. So the Thieves Guild that Black Cat basically runs or is a part of has been stealing valuable items from superheroes, and she's recruited Spider-Man to help her recover these things because she feels that that's not what the Thieves Guild is about, and that these items are essential for these heroes to save people. So they go do that. They find this vault. The Thieves Guild shows up. There's a big fight. It's funny because Spider-Man gets to like use all these different things that belong to other superheroes. He's got an Iron Man mask at one point. He tries to use the Eye of Agamotto, and eventually he finds a cell phone. Cut to a group of Avengers along with Tony Stark and Reed Richards, who are devising these very complicated plans to find all of these items. When Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, says, "Hey, well, they stole my bag and my phone was in it. And hey, you know that app that finds your phone if it shows up, the Find Your Phone app? Well, it just pinged." And Reed Richards and Tony Stark are standing there like, "Oh, this is embarrassing. We could have done this." Cut back to the fight with the Thieves Guild. Spider-Man's got a cell phone. He's like, "Hey, a bunch of Avengers are about to show up. You guys should probably like leave." Anyway, they get all the stuff back to all the heroes, save the day. And then what's really interesting is Black Cat reveals that she doesn't remember who Spider-Man is. That she remembers all of the things that have happened with them, but doesn't remember him. So he makes the decision to reveal himself to her. His name's Peter, and she remembers him, which is nice. And then he goes home and tells Mary Jane about it, who's perfectly fine with it. And in no way is this ever going to come back to bite him in the rear end. And then setting up the next few issues is this guy that we've been seeing for the since the first issue. He's like got all these mummy wrappings on him and he controls bugs. I don't know what this dude's deal is, but apparently he and Spider-Man are gonna throw hands here at some point soon. Anyway, I enjoyed it. One last thing. I saw Spider-Man Far From Home last night. It was fantastic. It was perfect for what it was. Excellent Spider-Man movie, 9.5 out of 10. And yes, they're doing with Spider-Man exactly what you think they're doing.
Yeah. Okay. Also in the Spider-Man books, we have, I don't know, because I scrolled down to look at something else. We have the Spider-Geddon event. How'd that go?
Well, first let's talk about Miles Morales #1. What'd you think of it?
Yo,
Yeah, do you have any opinion on Miles Morales #1, or are you just gonna stand there? Hey, Pat,
you're buffering horribly, man. I
so are
just
you.
tested my speed and it's you.
Can't be.
It is.
Okay.
I got 20 down and 3 up, man.
Okay.
I mean, this one's not on me.
Where'd you lose me?
The moment you started talking about Miles Morales, you froze up until just a moment ago.
Okay, that happened to you too. Okay. Well, it was nice to try to do a podcast.
Did you test your speed?
I don't know. It may not be either one of us because no, it ain't me. I'm zooming at 16, 17, which is higher than usual. It may not be either one of us because dude, Amazon Web Services was having problems earlier today.
Yeah, you were having problems right at the beginning, and then you kind of buffered a couple times. Then you buffered real bad at the start of Miles Morales. Now we seem to be fine again.
Yeah. Well, understand like Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and a number of other services went down for 2 or 3 hours ago today. So
You want to
just an hour or two ago. Now let's pick it up and go from here.
All right, I got to pee. I was going to ask for a timeout anyway. Give me just a moment.
Okay.
Thank you, dear.
No, that's fine. Let's go.
All right.
Okay. I'll just edit that out and we can pick up with Miles Morales.
Count us in and then ask me about Miles Morales.
All right. 3, 2, 1. So, Pat, did you read Miles Morales #1?
I did not. No.
No? Okay. So, this was kind of a big deal because this is the first time they're doing a Miles Morales Spider-Man solo book without Brian Michael Bendis, who is now writing for DC.
Really?
Yeah.
Thought they had.
No.
Okay.
So everybody's kind of nervous about what that means. But I don't think they'll have a problem. I mean, you got Saladin Ahmed writing it. Brian Stelfreeze is doing the covers. Javier Guerin's doing the interior art. the first issue was good. The first like third of the book is kind of a recap of like who Miles Morales is, what he's been doing lately, what's been going on, all the way up until the end of his last series. But then it kind of launches into the standbys of like his problems at school, problems with girls, mom's kind of, ticked off because his grades aren't as good as they should be, and she doesn't understand why, even though she knows he's Spider-Man. And it ends up, he starts investigating these like children that are going missing, runs across the Rhino who he tussles with for a little while, but there's something else going on with these kids who have been like brainwashed or something. It's all there at the end of the issue. It was a good first issue. It was a strong first issue.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
Good.
Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man, I think is tying in with the Spider-Geddon thing. It was all right. The Spider-Geddon thing is, I don't know. I enjoyed the first Spider-Geddon thing that's going on the first time around. The second time, not as much, because it's basically a rehash of the same story with a few new faces and a couple different things going on. I mean, you've got the Inheritors, they've returned. You've got all these different Spider-Men who have been recruited across the universes to stop them. You've got some of the old standbys, but you've got some new ones too, which is cool. One of the big hangups this time around is that Doc Ock, who is the superior Spider-Man these days, there's a schism between Peter Parker's faction of spiders and his, because Otto wants to kill them and thought they should have killed them last time and they wouldn't be dealing with this problem. So you've kind of got this split between the spider team, and that, I don't know. I'm not into that really. But otherwise it's just them fighting the Inheritors again, and it's okay. The Spider-Gwen stuff's been good. Because Spider-Gwen's another one that they relaunched with a new creative team after the original team moved on, and it's been okay. She has found herself stranded in an alternate universe where I want to say Hobby Brown, and that is not it. Norman Osborn's kid.
Normie?
No.
No. Normie's the one in
Normie's Harry.
Harry.
Normie is Harry's son. Harry Osborn became Spider-Man instead of Peter Parker, and Gwen Stacy became the Green Goblin, but she was a hero until at some point her dad died and she had like a psychotic break, and now she's evil. And so Gwen Stacy from Earth 65 is helping this universe's Peter Parker and Mary Jane fix this world's Gwen Stacy. That's been all right. Yeah, it's okay. The Spider-Geddon stuff's, I don't know. It's kind of a rehash of the same thing with a few different seasonings thrown in, but it's still the same dish, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Any other Spider books to comment on?
Nah, because they all kind of
Spider-Man Deadpool still stuck.
Yeah. That Carnage Born, the Web of Venom Carnage Reborn #1 was actually pretty good. It's doing this thing that like the Carnage Limited series did a year or two ago, where they're involving the whole Carnage symbiote with like these elder gods and this like death cult, and I find that fascinating. But it was all right. It was good. Otherwise, pretty much everything's crossing over with the Spider-Geddon event, which has been just all right.
Okay. Next, we're going to race our way through 73 616 books.
Yeah, very quickly.
It's probably more than that. Black Order 1 and 2 is actually really entertaining because at least the first two issues, have been from the perspective of a different member of the Black Order. So that was really cool. Black Panther 5, 6, and 7, you still got the Panther in outer space, and I don't know why.
Dude, I'm really enjoying this. I enjoy this kind of like sci-fi Wakandan Empire across the stars thing going on. But in the most recent issue, the Njadaka, who is Killmonger, you would know him as Killmonger, basically kills Bast and takes her place as a god of the Pantheon. That was pretty rad. And uses a venom symbiote to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's become an eternal god, and yeah, that's fun. Captain America 5 and 6 also good. Both Black Panther and Captain America being written by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Captain America is just good right now, dude. I mean, he's dealing with this Hydra lady who's trying to rebuild the true Hydra. He's dealing with Thunderbolt Ross, who seems to have betrayed his country. And he's asking a whole lot of, at the same time, which is, and this is why I like it, and it's why I like Ta-Nehisi Coates' writing, is that during this whole thing, he's asking lots of existential questions about what is America now, and what is Captain America's place in it, because from his perspective, he represents an America that no longer resembles the America that he remembers.
Sure.
Champions is good. They're still doing the Weird World D&D type thing. It's been all right. Cosmic Ghost Rider is, dude, it's cosmic powered Frank Castle running around with baby Thanos. What more can you ask for?
There you go. Daredevil, it's actually 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", and 6'12". Did you read these?
Yes.
6'9" and 6'10" wrap up the Kingpin storyline, the Mayor Fist storyline, where all the guys are trying to get him. 6'11" and 6'12". I'm trying to decide, man. It's been out for a while now.
It's been out for a while. Just do it. Just pull that Band-Aid off.
At the beginning of 6'11", Daredevil is hit by, actually Matt Murdock is hit by a bus and rushed to an emergency room. He recovers, and it kind of changes his perspective on life. So he does things differently. He acts differently. And at the end of 6'12", you realize, no, nothing's really changed. He died when he hit the bus.
Yeah, everything else has been basically a hallucination that is just his brain firing neurons as he's dying.
Yeah. Really, really good.
Yeah, so Matt Murdock is dead. Charles Soule's leaving the book. Chip Zdarsky picks it up. And dude, we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens.
Here's one thing. Did the Kingpin resign as the mayor or not? Was that part of it? No, okay. That's what I thought. All right.
I don't think so. No.
Because that was part of like the thing that happened. Like they had a whole like legal trial and took the Kingpin to court, and he ends up resigning his office. And then you find out, oh no, this is Matt Murdock hallucinating, and then he dies.
Yes.
So I wasn't sure if like that really happened or if that was all part of him losing his mind and dying.
Yep. Next we have Deadpool 6 and 7. Deadpool 6 is one of the funniest books I have read in forever. It's where Kill Puddle was after him. Deadpool doesn't speak through the whole issue. It's hilarious. I mean, not one quip, not one line till he laughs in the last couple of panels. It is great. Scotty Young is killing this book.
It takes a lot of skill to do a silent issue that's also good. To do a full comic book that's, yes, it's a visual medium, but there's no dialogue whatsoever. You're just telling a visual story. That's hard, man.
Yeah. Dead Man Logan 1 and 2 is surprisingly good. I thought we were just going to see Old Man Logan just kind of die over 12 issues. Turns out there's some really good stuff there. And it's a really entertaining storyline. Death of the Inhumans number 5.
It was good. Did not end the way you thought it would. I'll just say that.
No.
Turns out all the Inhumans aren't dead. which is what I
No.
was hoping for, and enjoyed the journey. Didn't love the ending.
Yeah. Doctor Strange 789. Doctor Strange has been very good.
Yeah, Mark Waid's writing it. Dude, apparently the Doctor Strange that we were dealing with was an imposter. The actual Doctor Strange shows up, fights the imposter, who turns out to be some teenage girl that Doctor Strange locked away in the astral plane or something like that. I got a little lost in the details, but the science lady alien that he was traveling around with, turns out she finds out about the time stone and why he hid it from her. She got pissed and left, and now we're on to a new story arc. But yeah, Doctor Strange was good.
Yeah, it's been really good. Domino 8 and 9 is a surprisingly entertaining story. I've given up on Exiles.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just, I don't know. The first story arc was way better.
Yeah, it was. Fantastic Four, 3, 4, and The Wedding Spectacular are all really good.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you, I'm still buying that off the newsstand. It takes a lot for me to part with $4 to buy a book off the newsstand, because what happens is I show up and it's $4 for this book, 4 for that one, 4 for that one. Suddenly I'm out, 10, 12, $15. And but dude, I'm still buying that Fantastic Four because it's so good.
Yeah, you walk into the comic book store expecting to spend $20 and walk out having spent $60.
Dude, can I just say, I go to the cellar and there's these guys driving beaters. I mean, they're just driving hoopties, man. I mean, cars that, are 20 years old with 300,000 miles on it and look like they're, been wrecked 3 times and are falling apart.
Yeah, paint's peeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And go in and spend 60, 70, $80 on comic books every week. Every week I see them there about the same time I am picking up books, and they're spending 60, 70, $80 on comic books.
Dude, they got their priorities in the right place. I mean,
I guess, man.
These are the guys that are keeping the industry afloat for now, until the tariffs kick in and all of a sudden your $4 comic book becomes a $12 comic book.
Yeah, but we're not paying any of that. We're not paying any of that. China's paying for all of it.
Yeah, that's right. China's paying for all of it.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on quickly.
At least it's good that Fantastic Four is a good $4 comic book.
It is.
Yeah.
Immortal Hulk 8 and 9 is really good, man. This is a good horror story.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the horror bent that they're taking on the Hulk. And I've said this before, I'm not a Hulk guy. I don't read the Hulk. I've been reading this because Al Ewing's just killing it here.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Killmonger 1 and 2, I'll be honest, I haven't gotten around to.
Nope.
Marvel Knights 20th anniversary, I have no idea what's happening.
Have you read it?
I've read the first 2 issues. I kind of didn't want to read the other 2.
Why?
To be honest. Because everybody doesn't remember who they are, and it's weird, and I don't understand it.
That's the beauty of it.
Okay, maybe I need to read 3 and 4, but
I mean, to me, that's the best part. Is the Punisher and Bruce Banner remember who everybody is, and nobody else does. So they have to convince Daredevil who he is, convince Elektra who she is. Convince all these characters that you've been mind wiped, and somebody's mind wiped the planet, and we got to do something about it.
Okay, I'll read issues 3 and 4 and report back next time.
Marvel 2 and 1, number 11, last issue. Thank God.
I didn't understand. Once Fantastic Four is back, you don't need 2 and 1 anymore. So
it was Reed and Ben working out their issues, Susan and Johnny working out their issues for an issue. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. Miss Marvel 36, Miss Marvel, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. It's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, man. These are old standbys.
Yeah. Old Man Hawkeye 10, 11, and 12. That's the end of this series. Really, really good. If you haven't read it, I would encourage you to go back, and now that you can read the entire 12-issue run, I would encourage you to go back and read it. Good book. Good. Surprisingly good.
I might. We'll see. We'll see how this Dead Man Logan thing finishes up, and we'll go from there. Punisher 4 and 5. Punisher's going to war against Hydra and Baron Zemo. That dude, it's Punisher.
Punisher killing everybody in the convention center while Baron Zemo is watching on a monitor, powerless to stop him, is hilarious.
Dude, it's great. This has been some of the best Punisher writing in a decade.
Yeah,
since Matt Fraction was on the book.
Runaways 15 and 16.
Don't care.
Yeah. Shuri 2 and 3.
Shuri's good, but if you're not into it, you can skip it.
Thor 7 and 8 is building up to the War of the Realms. Yeah, okay.
Tony Stark Iron Man has been all right. It's an Iron Man book. Apparently Dan Slott's having a hard time getting this written and shipped on time, so he's got a co-writer on the series now.
Huh.
So okay. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, see how that goes.
Yeah, I'll be honest. It's been so long since we've read some of these books, I kind of don't remember.
Okay. Squirrel Girl 38 and 39. I blocked it from my memory if I ever had it.
They're still searching for Tony Stark because he's gone missing or something. Unstoppable Wasp 2 and 3. If you like Nadia and the Unstoppable Wasp thing, it's more of the same. I really dig this series. If you're not into it, I get why. But she's a really fun character to me. Unstoppable Wasp is one of those series that, you read the Avengers and Immortal Hulk and some of these others that are like really serious and contemplative, like the Black Panther and Captain America is right now. And then you read Unstoppable Wasp to unwind and just have a good time.
Sure. Do you care about any of these last 4 books?
No. Venom 8 and 9, it's not bad. Weapon H, they're still running around.
Isn't bad. Yeah.
Yeah, they're still running around Weird World in Weapon H. What If Magic #1 was not bad either. And then Winter Soldier #1, I actually haven't read.
Yeah, there you go. I haven't either.
Moving on to Star Wars. We're in the home stretch.
And I didn't put all the Star Wars books up there because there was there were so many of them. There was the one shot with, who was the villain from episode 1?
Darth Maul.
Yes, thank you. That was good.
Yeah, it was good. There's not a Mace Windu, Qui-Gon Jinn comic that's also good.
There's a Mace Windu coming.
Yeah. They're doing like an Old Republic series where they're doing a bunch of one shots of a bunch of those prequel characters.
Right.
But you've got Solo, a Star Wars story adaptation. Exactly what it sounds like. It's the comic book adaptation of that movie, which you can watch on Netflix because it's there. Oh, reminder. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is now on Netflix. So if you didn't get to see it in theaters, drop whatever you're doing, stop listening to this podcast and go watch that movie.
Yeah, because Netflix isn't going to tell you it's there. It's just buried deep in the content.
Yeah. Well, I got a banner saying it was there. So, yeah.
Okay.
And Stranger Things drops in a few hours, so go watch it while you're waiting for that. Star Wars 56, 57, 58. So in the wake of the Republic fleet, not the Republic fleet, the Rebel fleet, they're not the Republic yet. The Rebel fleet kind of being decimated at Mako Ta base. The trio, Luke, Han, and Leia, go to this planet. And it's basically, dude, it is very much meant to be rural America town planet. It is the middle of nowhere. All the buildings are made of wood. There's a barn. People are doing farm work, the old-fashioned way. And they're kind of exiled and stuck on this planet until the next transport leaves, which is going to be a while. And Luke's kind of like having a fling with the farmer's daughter. It's kind of a weird side passage, and it's like, what are we doing here? Star Wars is a little weird right now. Hopefully,
as long as he's not having a fling with Leia, I'm good.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to do that. I hope. Darth Vader 23, 24, and 25 wrap up this Darth Vader series. He finishes building his castle on Mustafar with the help of Momin, the mask that is inhabited by a ancient Sith Lord. Have you read all this? Have you finished it?
That was outstanding, man. If we still did books a week, those would be my books of the week, month, year. They were amazing.
Specifically 23, 24, and 25 are some of the best Darth Vader writing ever.
Yeah.
Charles Soule killed it on this comic, and I'm sad that there's only 25 issues. If you read any of these Star Wars comics, go read Darth Vader. You don't even have to read the first few issues. Just start with the Castle Vader storyline and read that. I would encourage you to read all of it. But if you just want to get in on this, just read this Castle Vader story arc and you'll understand why we rave about it. It's amazing. Dr. Aphra has gone off the rails and I've lost interest. Han Solo Imperial Cadet. If you have seen Solo, the movie, you remember there's like a 2-year gap where he leaves Corellia and goes and signs up for the Empire. There's a 2-year gap in that movie where he does that, and then you meet up with him again, and he signs up with the smugglers group. This is what he did in those 2 years.
I was disappointed in this series.
It's not great.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. It's not as you can, if you're a big Star Wars nerd, maybe you want to read it, but it's not essential at all.
Right.
No. And that's it. We're done. And I think we got it in all in about an hour.
There you go, man. It's impressive.
Yeah, 2 months worth of comic books right there. We are desperately going to try to get back on a regular schedule where we're doing this just month by month rather than cramming 2 months into a single episode, and we can discuss some of these comics in a little more detail. You're going to continue to get What's Next on a regular weekly basis because those, quite frankly, the rationale was we were having a hard time doing this podcast every single week because it demands more of our time. But What's Next, we can crank out. We can spend the same amount of time doing this show and crank out a month's worth of What's Next, and it's good to go. So you'll continue to get What's Next on a weekly basis. We'll be doing this show on a monthly, and unless something goes horribly awry, we should be on our normal schedule.
Yep.
Anyway, Pat, you got anything you want to mention before we go?
Nope, I'm good, man.
All right. Well, if you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. That's the number 6monthsbehind@gmail.com.
The website is www.6monthsbehind.com.
And please follow us on Twitter at 6monthsbehind. Everybody have a happy 4th of July, and we will see you next time.
Peace.